Hey guys, just math y'all. Here we are, continuing our polynomial practice test. We are working on this one. Okay, we're at number 8. Number 8 works exactly like number 4, so go back and look at the video. And number 9 works just like number 7. Now, I gave you a hint for number 7. I didn't do it for you, but I did get you started, so they should work just like the previous one. Number 7 and 8 and number 6 and 4 and all those work the same. Okay, so now we're going to start with number 10. Move on to number 10 where we start dealing with the graphs of these polynomials. And we have 4 basic things to have to do, maybe a little bit more than 4 depending on how you look at it. But the first thing we're going to do is determine the end behavior. Okay, so now the end behavior is determined by the degree of the polynomial. So this degree is going to be combined, adding those 3 numbers up. And there's an understood 1 in there. And so the degree is 2 plus 3 plus 1, which is 6. And that's an even number. Okay, so even degrees, the end behavior is the same. So either they both fall or they both rise. Okay, they fall on the left, fall on the right, or they both rise on the left, rise on the right. So the first thing we do is check the degree, and then we decide, is it positive or negative? Well, this first here is positive, so we have a positive degree 6. So this is going to rise. It's going to rise right and left. Maybe it's the other way around, but it's going to rise right and left. So when I get ready to graph it, I've got ends pointing both up. Okay, next part is the x-intercepts. So the x-intercepts, we take each one of our factors and set them equal to 0. So I'm going to have x squared equals 0. I'm going to have x minus 4 equals 0. And we'll have x plus 2 equals 0. Now when I solve these, I get x equals 0, x equals 4, and x equals negative 2. So the x-intercept answers are 0, 4, negative 2. So that's the x-intercept answers. But then it asks me, which one of these does it cross at? Okay, so now that one we have to go look at the degree again. So now, this one produced 0, right? This one produced 0. And so this one is got an even power. And even powers touch and turn around. Odd powers cross. So in this one touches and turns around at 0. 0 is the answer. The power is even. It touches and turns around. The next one has an odd power, and so it's going to cross. The next one is negative 2, and it has an odd power, so it is going to cross. So it crosses at 4, negative 2, and touches and turns around at 0. Now let's do the y-intercept. The y-intercept, we're going to plug in 0. That's what you always do to find the y-intercept. This one's super easy because it's 0 squared, 0 minus 4 to the third, and 0 plus 2. So that's 0 squared times negative 4 to the third times 2. Well, if you do 0 times anything, you get 0. So when I plug in 0, I get 0. So my y-intercept is actually the point 0, 0. Now, multiple choice using the answers from A, B, and C. You have to have them both pointing up. When you look at your grid, you're going to have 0, 0 as a point, and it's going to cross at 0. Got that one. It's going to cross at negative 2, and it's also going to cross at 4. So it's going to cross, touch and turn around, and then cross. So there's my grass. It crosses at negative 2, touches and turns around when x is 0, and crosses. So Let's do number 12. It's the same situation. This one's multiple choice. We're just going to look at the graph and see what we have. We have x plus 2 equals 0, x plus 4 equals 0, x equal negative 2. I can give myself enough room. Let's try again. We have x plus 2 equals 0, so x is negative 2. X plus 4 equals 0, so x is negative 4. And x plus 5 equals 0, which means x is negative 5. So when we're doing our graph, we have negative 2, point at negative 4, and we have a point at negative 5. Okay, this is a third degree polynomial. It's positive, so since it's positive, it's going to go cross, cross, cross. And that's what your graph is going to look like. Number 12 works just like number 11. 13 and 14 are like number 10. So make sure you practice those and see if you can't figure those out. We'll do one more. 15. Number 15 is almost like number 10. So let's do this one again. The end behavior is the first thing we need to do. We need to determine the degree. So we add those numbers up. Officially, that's 2 plus 1 plus 1. 2 plus 1 plus 1, which is 4. So we have a degree of 4. And there is no negative, so this is positive. So just like the one we just did, we have rises left and rises right because it's even and positive. So it's going to rise both up. All right, now the x-intercepts, we set each one equal to 0. So we have 4 and negative 1 and 3. So our x-intercepts are 4, negative 1, and 3. Okay, now, which ones do we cross at? The crossing, okay? So it crosses at the odd powers. So this one is an odd power. This one had an odd power, so it's going to cross at negative 1 and 3. This one had an even power, so it's going to touch and turn around at that answer. All right, now this one is different than the previous one because of this third question, the y-intercept. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to plug in 0, but this time we don't get 0. We plug in 0 on 0 minus 4 squared, 0 plus 1 to the first, 0 minus 3 to the first. So that's negative 4 squared times 1 times negative 3. So this is going to be, I didn't give myself enough room, 16 times negative 3. That is negative 48. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 48. Check on this real quick. So when you type this in, you only need to type in the negative 48. You don't need to do the 0 part. Okay? All right. So again, the graph, we're looking for one that has both ends pointing upward. We're looking for the x-intercepts and the y-intercept at negative 48. So please just look for those things. Okay, it's going to have a y-intercept of negative 48 down there. We're going to have, it's going to cross at negative 1. It's going to cross at 3. And it's going to touch and turn around at 4. So let's see what this looks like. It's going to cross there. It's going to cross there. It's going to touch and turn around there. That should look something like that. Okay. Next up, we have a review from the final for a difference quotient problem, and we will do that one next. It's just math, y'all.